We have some updates on the Crystal Lake TV series, Stranger Things Season 5 and Alien Earth. Now let's get into it.
Fresh meat.
Cracking open these weekly woes, Peacock's Friday the 13th prequel series has finally found its new Jason Voorhees. This is really exciting, baby. We're finally getting moving with this. Now, little update on the Crystal Lake series. Essentially, you know, we've been through the ringer with this show. We lost everybody who was working on the original version, if that was A24's fault, if that was the people doing it. That's a whole conversation. I won't get into it, but that was yikes. Lots of drama. Now we're finally back on track, it seems, with Brad Caleb Kane now show running. We've finally found our new Jason Voorhees too, with Callum Vincent, who played a small role in Chucky Season 3. He's this little kid right here. You might be deceived by this picture from Bloody Disgusting, by the way. That is not Jason Voorhees right there. That's actually the Chucky doll. Callum Vincent, I'm excited. I think he can totally pull off Jason. It's gonna be fun. Doesn't seem like it's a big role though, which I know that might be to some's dismay, but this is focusing a lot more on Linda Cardellini's version of Pamela Voorhees, where little Jason Voorhees is only gonna be like kind of a recurring character here and there, probably only be in a couple of episodes. Maybe in flashbacks, maybe we'll actually see the character's death. We've also learned recently that we're gonna see characters from that opening scene of the original Friday the 13th, 1980. If it's like the first two characters she ends up killing in that opening sequence, those characters will actually be main characters here. And probably the most exciting thing, at least for me as a weird fan of this franchise, Nick Cordelleone is going to be playing Crazy Ralph, baby. So we haven't seen Crazy Ralph since the second movie, and now he's coming back, baby. So I'm really hyped to see what ends up happening with this show. Again, I'm rooting for it. I hope it's good, but I do want to see Jason back on the big screen. And I feel like a lot of fans also feel that way too. It's been a very, very, very long time, 16 years in fact, since we saw Jason on our screens in any capacity. Now he's coming to the small screen, being played by a child again. Now, I just hope that season 1 focuses on Pamela, just do that story, take us all the way to the original Friday the 13th. Then maybe season 2 can get into Jason killing. You know, we flash forward a little bit, why he got resurrected, maybe he wasn't dead the entire time. This is kind of a fresh take on the story, and a necessary one at that too, because one of the biggest criticisms of this franchise is how did we go from him being like a vision in our final girl's dream, basically, as a creepy little swamp boy, to a big old gigantic man with a hooded with a hood on, running around killing people, living in the woods this entire time. What happened there? Can this series smooth that out a little bit and maybe even do a different version of it? I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind just using those same story elements but fleshing them out in a better way, maybe even in a more modern sense too. We'll see what ends up happening with the show whenever it comes out, but what we do know is that filming is underway, production is happening, and soon we'll probably get some more updates on this bad boy, maybe even a release date. A show that's a little more distant away, but at least has a release date, kind of. Well, 3 release dates, I should say. Stranger Things Season 5, we just got ourselves a new teaser trailer, and it looks pretty sick. I have so much to say about Stranger Things Season 5. I wish I had a lot to say about this teaser, but they were keeping things kind of secretive. We got to see some of our favorite characters again. Before we get into some of my thoughts on this, though, I want to talk a little bit about this season, how it's going to be released, because they didn't really clarify that in the trailer, and honestly, it's confusing me, so it's likely confusing some of you. Let's talk about this. The first 4 episodes will premiere on November 26th, which is Thanksgiving for us here in the States. First 4 episodes, by the way. I thought it was the first like 5. I don't know why. I thought I heard that somewhere. First 4 episodes. The next 3 episodes will then release on Christmas Day, with the series finale, one last episode on December 31st. Now, you might think, oh, Jake, easy. I'll get through that, no problem. Well, the thing is, every episode is at least 2 hours long. Each one of these is basically a blockbuster movie, and then some. Clearly, they're trying to make this something bigger than the previous season, and we'll talk more about that in a second, but let's talk about this plot description. The fall of 1987, Hawkins is scarred by the opening of the rifts, and our heroes are united by a single goal: find and kill Vecna. But he was vanished, his whereabouts and plans unknown, complicating their mission. The government has placed the town under military quarantine and intensified its hunt for Eleven, forcing her back into hiding. As the anniversary of Will's disappearance approaches, so does a heavy, familiar dread. The final battle is looming, and with it, a darkness more powerful and more deadly than anything they faced before. To end this nightmare, they'll need everyone, the full party, standing together one last time. It may sound like it's getting too big for its britches, But let's talk a little bit about that previous season. I remember getting into season 4 and just being very impressed by season 3. I was not somebody who was a big Stranger Things fan. I'm gonna be completely real. I saw seasons 1 and 2. I liked it. It was solid, but it was a Netflix show. At the end of the day, I'll watch it if it comes on. You know, if there's a new season, maybe I'll put it on, whatever. But season 3 just like blew my expectations out of the water. There was a lot of really well done emotional storylines. It wasn't just totally reliant on nostalgia, even though that's obviously a big part of this, but they were able to deliver more than just that with a lot of its new characters, which is great. And I think one of the other things that Stranger Things just has a lot going for it is it doesn't rely on how a lot of these other requels and nostalgic-based properties are always trying to force characters into their narrative that may not belong one way or the other. This is all just original characters we haven't seen storylines gone through before. We're not thinking about, well, that doesn't make sense with something that happened 20 years ago. You know, no, these are brand new characters whose stories are all being told at the same time. Now, season 3 was great, but it was simple. Season 4 stepped it up big time, and it was really complicated. I'm someone who doesn't like complication. That's synonymous with messy, in my opinion, when things just have too many storylines going on all at the same time. It's like, dude, just execute one thing really well. Season 4 is a major fluke in those regards, though, because it's basically 4, not subplots. Like, I think you would be crazy to call those subplots. Those are 4 full-fledged storylines all working in tandem really well together. Somehow it all worked for me. I had like almost no complaints coming out of season 4. I was like, this was awesome, great stuff all around, and you ended all of the arcs in a really interesting way that kind of feels thematic, how they were all done together. So now they're clearly trying to do that with season 5, but even bigger. And let's talk about this quote from the Duffer Brothers here. Ross Duffer said, "We spent a full year filming this season. By the end, we had captured over 650 hours of footage. So needless to say, this is our biggest and most ambitious season yet. It's like 8 blockbuster movies. It's pretty insane." Matt Duffer added, "Season 5 will be big and epic. There's no time for a ramp up. It's going to be intense from beginning to end." So again, they're clearly trying to do season 4 again, but bigger. Will that work? I don't know, but clearly the effort has been put in there. I know that you can look at this and say, Jake, that's just runtime. Is that really like something that we can say? Does that really speak to quality? And no, not necessarily, but I feel like in this one situation, I feel like it does. Stranger Things is such a unique situation, in my opinion. It's something that has just gotten bigger and bigger across the last couple of seasons that I feel like this could work. There's a chance that it does. And they're clearly trying to make it something bigger than season 4 because that's the only route that they have to go towards. You can't downplay season 4. Season 4 has taken the show to a whole new level that I can't even believe that they're doing a season 5. If I made season 4, I'd be like, we have to rewrite the ending. We have to just end this shit right now, because how the hell do we tell a bigger story than this that still ends up working? Season 5 will hopefully answer that question later on this year, and I just hope it doesn't get too big for its britches, man. This could be a weird thing that does end up working and emotionally wrecks me like the last season, but we'll just have to see, baby. Bring it on at the end of the year. I can't wait to be watching this when I'm supposed to be at like holidays with my family. We got a new kind of small trailer for Alien Earth that once again just showcases more monsters coming around than just the xenomorphs. But don't worry, baby, we did get one of the coolest shots, and I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, one of the coolest shots in the Alien franchise towards the end of this brand new trailer. It's a xenomorph just hanging out in this ravine, and it's like, I don't know, there's something so spooky about it. If you saw this new trailer, let me know what you thought about it, but let's break this down a little bit. Coming from Noah Hawley, this prequel series will have its first 2 episodes debut on August 12th, and then have episodes follow every single Tuesday at 8 p.m. Until September 23rd, which is a day before my birthday. Really cool. You guys don't care about that, though. You guys care about Alien Earth. Alien Earth takes place well before the events of the original film in 2120. And it follows 5 corporations, Prodigy, Weyland-Yutani, Lynch, Dynamic, and Threshold, who wield the power of nations, and proprietary advancements in technology provide the promise of a new tomorrow. When a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. So much excitement here with what's going on in this trailer. I cannot wait for August 12th, man. This is going to be just a great thing to talk about Wednesday mornings. I feel after New new episodes come out, I will be covering this show because, man, I love the Alien franchise, and I seriously cannot wait to see what this is all about. There's some images and just ideas going around in the series that honestly have me maybe even more excited for this than I was for the brand new movie, Alien Romulus. And also, if you liked that, something else I want to add is an Alien Romulus sequel is currently like moving along, like they're getting that ready to rock and roll. We should be having that sometime after the latest Predator movie drops later on this year, which all kind of take place in the same universe. So I feel like this is all building to probably one big new Alien versus Predator film. Will Alien Earth have some sort of tie towards that? Well, we'll just have to find out. We do know that it's definitely going to be talking about Weyland-Yutani, how they beat out this race across like all these different companies, how they get their hands on the xenomorph and why they want more samples of it, why they're interested in collecting more DNA of this thing as maybe some sort of weapon, whatever. Just getting a better picture of why Weyland-Yutani is doing what they're doing, and that to me is what's really exciting about this show, maybe more than anything. So bring it on. Let's see what this is all about on August 12th. Finally getting into some movie talk here, we have an update on Werewolf coming from Mr. Robert Eggers. This will be his 5th feature, and it will, of course, have Willem Dafoe in it, because Willem Dafoe and Robert Eggers is like the new Scorsese and De Niro, except in this weird little gothic universe that my dude is building. I love Robert Eggers movies, man. I think he is 4 for 4 with everything he's put out. Even The Northman. Everyone freaking hated The Northman for some reason, but it's so good and it needs more love, in my opinion. Loved that, and I also just loved Nosferatu last year. The more I think about it, that might be my favorite from his whole catalog, and I'm not even kidding. But this one, yet another horror movie from the guy, even though he is in talks to do a new Christmas Carol movie. There's also this film called The Night, which sounds like it's once again getting away from horror, but no worries, the next thing he's clearly getting himself into is a werewolf movie, baby. This movie's gonna be a straight up Nosferatu reunion as well, because not only do we have Willem Dafoe being announced to be in this movie, but we also have Aaron Taylor Johnson and Lily Rose Depp. Something else that's very similar to Nosferatu is this one drops on Christmas Day of 2026, just like how Nosferatu did literally last year. So this is really exciting to look forward to on Christmas Day to see whatever Robert Eggers' bizarre new project is. I was so upset watching Nosferatu. It was such a well done, great movie that focuses on the more sexual repression natures of the original Nosferatu, which was a really interesting angle to take it, but also a good one to make yourself different. You know what I mean? You didn't want to just make the same movie over and over again. Nosferatu did find a way to kind of hit on something different, go a little more in depth on an element to the original that maybe wasn't as big of a focal point, which I thought was cool, man. I loved that version of Nosferatu quite a bit. Easily one of my favorite movies from last year, and I'm sure Werewolf will be one of my favorites from 2026 because this guy does not miss. I mean, truly one of the greatest voices in horror these days, easily up there as a master of horror films in his own very unique style. But I think the other thing I love about Robert Eggers is I just don't know what to expect from the guy anymore. He does have an undeniable style, making these period piece movies in his own unique way, but he does do things differently every single time. Nosferatu, that was not the version of that film I expected it to be. I was more expecting like more of The Witch, essentially slow burn, creepy building atmosphere, and then maybe have a big punch at the end. But Nosferatu, it was kind of punches all the way through with totally different ideas going through it than I was even expecting. So man, I don't know. I have no idea what to expect from Werewolf, but I know it's going to be of quality. He's writing this also with Sean, I'm pretty sure that's how we pronounce that, who also wrote The Northman with him. So again, Northman fans, we're about to be eaten. There's not too many of us out there, unfortunately, because that movie like totally bombed at the box office, which is really fucking upsetting because it was so good. One of the best movies of 2022, I would even say. But man, at least we're getting him back. He's going to be writing what is hopefully another hit for both of the fellas. Christopher Columbus is also producing, who was a part of Nosferatu, and kind of a big part of the reason that was so successful. We love this Christopher Columbus, not the other guy, but this Chris Columbus is cool. Can't wait for Werewolf though, man. Drop it on Christmas Day 2026. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Now, even though I am a huge horror fan, I just love Mortal Kombat. It's got blood, it's got guts, and it's got fighting, baby. It hits 3 of the most important things things I want to see in entertainment. Let's be real here. And now the sequel is coming out focusing on Karl Urban's take on Johnny Cage, one of the coolest cats in this entire roster, let me tell you. So there was two big issues that almost across the board everyone agreed they didn't really love about the 2021 movie. Number one, the focus on a brand new character we had never met before. I have to be real, this is the issue I didn't really care that much about. Cole Young is a solid character. I don't have anything strongly for him or strongly against him, if I'm being completely real, but I do agree that it's an odd choice to create a new character when you have so many really interesting characters that Mortal Kombat fans are invested in. We would have loved to have seen another Liu Kang focused movie just like the 90s flicks. I would have been totally fine with that. But now we have Cole Young, who's kind of the same character too, so like I get the criticisms there. Cole Young, whatever. Mortal Kombat 2, though, is focusing on Johnny Cage, which I think is a great choice because, first of all, we never had a Mortal Kombat live-action movie to focus on the character, and he's played by Karl Urban, I think everybody loves Karl Urban. He's just one of those actors that has been in so many different properties, Lord of the Rings, The Boys, and now this, where he's just kicked ass big time. So I cannot wait to see this movie, especially for him leading in this movie, but I do want to note that Cole Young's still in this movie, just being pushed to the side a little bit, which I imagine that's got to suck for that actor, but it's not his fault. You know what I mean? Again, I don't have anything against his performance in that movie, but he should have just been Liu Kang. Like, straight up, you fix that, fix a big problem with that movie if he was just Liu Kang. Other big thing is people didn't like that we didn't have a tournament, which this is a criticism I kind of agree with. Kind of wish we got to a tournament here, but they're making sure that everyone knows, hey, Mortal Kombat 2, we're getting into the tournament this time, baby. Again, didn't really bug me in the original Mortal Kombat because we still had people fighting, you know? I think if we had a Mortal Kombat movie where people didn't fight, maybe they talked it out or something, yeah, I'd be upset. I want to see people beating the crap out of each other, ripping heads off and jaws apart and whatever, crazy fatalities. You can't take that away from Mortal Kombat. If there's not a tournament, whatever. But this time, we're finally doing that, and I'm excited. So definitely looks like it's a movie that is fixing a lot of the big issues with the original flick, and we also have some brand new characters, as you can see right here. We got Baraka, we also have Jade, Melina, Shao Kahn, Sindel, and Noob, which is lore-accurate, resurrected version of Sub-Zero. Now, on top of Sub-Zero being resurrected as kind of a new character, we got to see a few other folks who are back this time around, likely because of Shang Tsung. We got Kano is back in this one, which I feel like is such a must. Kano was so easily one of the highlights of the previous Mortal Kombat film. And then we also kind of saw like a very brief moment of Kung Lao, who of course died in the previous film, but maybe he's a bad guy this time around. Kind of seems like they're teasing him as switching sides in this movie, which would be really exciting. That could be a cool new dynamic and storyline for Liu Kang's character, who's also going to be returning. Pretty much all the characters from the last movie are returning too, which is great, on top of some new folks, and man, I cannot wait to see this. I think they could just keep making Mortal Kombat movies. I'm just gonna be so real. I really loved the 2021 movie, and this one does look better in so many different regards. I have nothing but high hopes for this one. So let's see this one make $1 billion at the box office. It won't, but in my heart, it will. And finally, bringing it back to horror, we have a 6th Purge movie on the way from franchise creator James DeMonaco, who has written all 5 of the previous films. Wow, holy crap. It almost feels like this franchise had a shift in writers at a certain point, doesn't it? Like, I feel like the first movie is like this home invasion thriller where they had to create this cool-ass universe to make it happen in the first place. But then they realized, oh, this concept's way too good for just a home invasion thriller, and then like figured out a way cooler story to tell across the next couple of movies. But, you know, a big thing about the Purge movies that back in 2021 when the 5th entry came out, I was just not crazy about it. I didn't love it, but I feel like it has aged very, very, very well. And now we have a new one coming, you know, I feel like, let's just be real here, a big talking point with the Purge films is just American politics, and it's a situation that has gotten so much crazier just in the last year. So if there's any good time for a new Purge movie, it is absolutely now, and I'm sure James DeMonaco knows that. Let's be real here. After 5 Purge movies that have hit on that heavily, I imagine that's kind of the impetus for this project. Talking about this a little bit, he says, I just finished a script. My producer, Sebastian Lemercier, oh man, I'm butchering that, has read multiple drafts, given me notes. We just handed it to Jason Blum. I'm really happy with it. I hope they like it. I think it's cool and fun. We're hoping next year would be great to shoot, maybe the end of the year if timing works out, but now it's with the powers that be, so we'll see what happens. James DeMonaco also added that people's favorite character might be coming back, and he tries to make it mysterious, like there's multiple characters we like from this franchise, but let's be real here, there's only one person that we want to see back who was missing from the previous movie. It's Sergeant Leo Barnes, played by Frank Grillo, baby. Yeah! We were talking about Frank Grillo recently on the page, by the way, if you remember my review of Werewolves from Stephen C. Miller. I was so excited for that movie because it's basically The Purge with werewolves, and it also literally stars Frank Grillo. It was a good movie. It was a fun time. If you guys didn't see that one, I recommend it. I thought it was a really fun watch. I don't think it was great, but I think it would be towards the bottom of my top 10 werewolf movies of all time. Like, it would take the 10th or the 9th spot, and that's pretty fucking good, dude. That's pretty good for any subgenre, in my opinion. So, Werewolves from Stephen C. Miller, it's a must-watch, I'd say, from last year's horror. Really solid stuff there. But I especially loved Frank Grillo in that movie, and I missed him dearly in the Forever Purge, which was another reason why I wasn't so big on that one. DeMonaco also says that he wrote this one with his wife, which was really nice. They created some real great female heroes in this one. There's some really amazing women. We've had some great women in the past, but real warrior women come forth here in a way that we haven't really explored on Purge Night. He's basically continues saying that they got a nice like female perspective on the story, which I think will totally flavor this one differently. We don't want just the same movie over and over again. You know what I mean? So that to me, I think is ultimately exciting. I know I can already feel people typing woke or something into the chat, but relax, come on, it's just a movie. It can't hurt you. It's a movie, you'll be fine. But something else I'll note about James DeMonaco is he has done something different from The Purge recently that comes out this week called The Home. It's a horror movie that stars Pete Davidson. I don't think it looks very good. I'm just gonna be real. I want to hype this up and say it looks sick as fuck. It's Pete Davidson in a horror movie. What do you expect? I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why Pete Davidson wasn't in Screamboat, but he's in this movie instead. Make it make sense. They literally shot that movie on Pete Davidson and Colin Jost's boat. Why was he not in it? At least a cameo or something, right? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I wish that we had seen him running around getting chased by Mickey Mouse. That to me feels like a more fitting spot for someone like Pete Davidson in the world of horror. But now we have to take him seriously in a horror film. I don't know, James DeMonaco. I don't know if I can get into that, bro. I'm just gonna be real. I feel like that's a not great casting choice in my humble opinion. I like Pete Davidson. I know a lot of people don't. I like him, but he's a silly guy. I don't know if I can take him seriously or not. That's a whole other conversation. See The Home this weekend if you want, or Bambi the Reckoning, which is the movie that I feel like more people are a little more excited for. So which update from today's video has you the most excited? Let me know down in the comments below. If you're wondering what the hell is going on behind me, I'm moving into a new apartment soon. You will see a brand new set for Killjoy Jake videos very soon here. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.